too soon. Coronavirus cases are not dropping as rapidly here as elsewhere in the country. And while some businesses are working how they get up and running safely, there's frustration from those who are still sidelined at home. Political correspondent Hannah Miller has more.
The train back to normal. How long will it take? Manchester city centre far from inundated at what would have been rush hour this morning. But at a garden centre in Bury, people were queuing round the block. And at this one in Salford, they think they can spy the green shoots of recovery as doors open for the first time in weeks.
I think it's because it's outdoors. It's outdoors, and, you know, this is the time of the year, basically starting in April, where people are coming, buying plants, buying seeds, etc. People get so much satisfaction. And in Salford, allotments are a really big thing. So I'm expecting a lot of people in over the weekend, buying plants, getting seeds, etc.
And in the House of Commons, itself struggling with how to get back to work. The Prime Minister encouraged people to use the NHS as before.
So how will he be assisting hospitals like Stepping Hill ensure that my constituents can access healthcare as usual?
I would certainly encourage people with conditions that need medical treatment to go and get that treatment now.
But workplaces are without doubt going to have to adapt. Here they make the machines that make the pasta, toilet rolls and other essentials that you use at home. By altering shift times and lunch breaks, they've been able to keep the factory open and say other businesses will adapt to do the same.
How convinced are you that the measures you've put in place to allow people to work safely could be used in other workplaces so that manufacturing can get restarted again?
Yeah, well, as convinced as is possible to be, really. I would suggest, you know, the common sense approaches of where people eat, where people go to the toilet, where people get drinks from. You know, they're the congregation things. That's your danger points. So you need to work very closely with your health and safety teams. You need to get everybody on board because people need confidence that they can work safely.
But for some industries, that confidence is very much lacking. We filmed with hairdresser Ray as lockdown began. He's still not sure when he'll be allowed back to work.
It's very frustrating because I haven't cut anybody's hair since the last time we spoke. I haven't had any money from the government since the last time we spoke, and I haven't earned any money. And I'm getting phone calls all the time for people asking me to come and cut their hair, and I'm having to refuse.
While for many today was little different to yesterday, the seeds of change have been sown. Another small shift in the way that we live, almost invisible compared to what's come before.
Well, Hannah joins us now. Hannah, some people in the northwest still saying the relaxing of the restrictions is too early for us here.
Yes, Tony, officials in Greater Manchester are clearly annoyed at what they see as a bit of a communication gap, you might say, between themselves and the government. They say they don't have access to the testing data they need to monitor things locally. From their information, they say they're not sure there's been a sustained drop in cases that warrants the lifting of the lockdown that we've seen today. And they're not happy either that they didn't get advance warning from the government. Here's Andy Burnham talking earlier.
The lack of ability to plan for what was announced was not a good judgment. We clearly should do this in a more orderly way than what we saw at the weekend. So, you know, obviously a balance does have to be struck.
And also, Hannah, concerns today from Merseyside about schools.
Yes, the government said that it's trying to get primary school children starting to go back from June, beginning first of all with reception year 1 and year 6 children, but with the aim that all primary school children will get some education before the summer. The Mayor of Liverpool tweeted this afternoon, though, that education is vital, but it doesn't come before the health and safety of our children and staff. We have responsibility for safeguarding our children, and I will resist allowing schools to open in June. To do so risks our children and staff's safety. We asked him about those comments.
Education's hugely important, and I recognise that as a granddad. But what's also important, and more important, is the health and safety, not just of those children themselves, but of the staff and the teachers, everybody that works in the school.
Now, of course, many parents and teachers are concerned about the safety of schools reopening. And as we understand things, the Mayor of Liverpool would actually have the power to stop local authority schools in Liverpool from opening. We've also heard concerns from other leaders in the North West today that they're not clear what the evidence is that schools can be safely reopened. But the government still insists it's the right thing to do.
The scientific and medical advice is saying now is the right time that we can start looking at bringing children back in a phased, considered and controlled manner, and that's what we're looking at doing.
One of the main considerations for the government is that it will be impossible to get people back to work properly if the schools are not open. And those kind of contradictions and balances are at the heart of everything that they're trying to do. We heard the government acknowledge tonight that it seems a little bit odd that people can go and look round a new house and look to purchase it, but they can't go round to see their mum or their grandma at home. Those balances between what's right for the economy, for health and for social things that people need themselves, they are really at the heart of all the decisions that are being made.
Hannah, thank you very much indeed for that. Thank you. Now, the government say they're being